I had a terrible idea for a video, and as you are watching this, it means that you in some way have bought into that idea, which is reviewing DK64 as someone who has not played it since they were 8 years old. And to be clear, I do not mean that I have recently replayed it to give some updated thoughts about it, and the last time I had played it was when I was 8. No. It is that I literally have not played it since I was 8 years old. You know, maybe a couple minutes here and there to get footage or playing a level for nostalgia's sake, but never meaningfully, never enough to say that I've really replayed it. And so you might be thinking, what value does this bring DK64 in conversation around it? What value does this bring the world? And the answer is DK64 came out in 1999 and was the first foray of the DK series into 3D. As a kid, this game blew my mind. When I played it, it was easily the best game I had ever played. I don't know that that was actually true at the time. I think I had played some games before it that I now would say are probably better. Ocarina of Time being one of them, Super Mario RPG being another, Super Mario World. Frankly, lots of games I think are better than DK64, but at the time of playing it, I thought it was so much fun. And a lot of that comes down to the world just being really neat to explore. For all the crap we can give the game for how much of a slog it is in terms of being a collectathon, the worlds really are filled with charm, and it is all established with its hub area, DK Isle. DK Isle has a lot of cool mysteries to explore, places to see. It's fun that it's Donkey Kong's head. Why? Why? Is this natural? Did DK carve it out? I guess maybe Bonanza has a take on this lore, potentially. Does it? I haven't played it yet, but, you know, maybe he punched it out. I don't know. I don't know the lore. DK lore heads, let me know. It's just a fun area, cool places. I love the N64 hub. I miss hubs. I wish more games did hubs. What makes this hub so good is its song, which I think DK Isle is a top 10 video game song of all time. Now, to be clear, there are definitely more than 10 songs in the list of top 10 video game songs of all time. There's probably like 100, but they do all count as top 10 video game songs. just to make that clear. So there's like 100 songs in the top 10 video game songs of all time, and DK Isle is one of them. And that's saying something because there are a lot of amazing tracks throughout the Donkey Kong series. I was talking with a friend about it, and I said DK Isle is the best DK song, and he countered with Sticker Brush Symphony, which is fair. Sticker Brush Symphony is probably, in a lot of ways, a better song. It's also a top 10 video game song of all time. The thing is, DK Isle is the song I want to listen to all the time. If the soundtrack of my life were set to DK Isle, that means my life is good. Donkey Kong is so lucky that this gets to be the song of his home. This is the track that plays in the back of his life. Obviously, it's not diegetic. He doesn't hear it, probably. I guess we don't know for sure, but probably not. Either way, though, that's the vibe. That is the vibe that DK Isle gives off, is this song. That's why it's this song, is this is how the place makes Donkey Kong and everyone else feel. Even when it's under attack, even when things are kinda going bad, it's still this beautiful, calm, playful, adventurous place. It is an amazing track, and yes, there is no other song that makes me feel like I am 8 in the way this one does. Now, of course, it is not just the hub area being cool, it's also the levels, and I'll be honest, I know that I am confusing some of the DK64 levels in my head with ones from Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. So I'm going to be very non-specific as to not embarrass myself. But they had a cool jungle level. There's those vines that hang up in the air that DK jumps on. Why are the vines just floating in the air like that? I don't know, but there's something about it that is exciting. There's a sand level, like a deserty level, which again, I'm not going to say more on because I'm pretty sure I might be thinking of a Banjo-Kazooie level. And then there's a factory level, which I know there's not a factory. Well, There is probably a factory in the Banjo games, but there's this factory level I remember. There's also, I think, one where you explore a ship. I have a memory of being Chunky Kong and turning into the dolphin, and that being a banana. So you're welcome for the insight there. Either way, all of these levels offered so many cool things to explore, beautiful spaces to look at and move around in. And obviously, by today's standards, you might be like, what are you talking about? This is an N64 game, Raz. That's fair. But I was 8, and I had never seen something as beautiful as this. I know that sounds overdramatic, but truly, I think that as far as good-looking games, you know, Mario 64 is pretty. Ocarina of Time was too, but there was something so lively about these areas. They're more colorful, they're more vibrant, they're more playful than anything in those games, even more so than the Banjo games in some regards. Oh, there's also this spooky level, and there's like cutouts of K. Rool, I believe, and a Kremlin that wears a sheet over its head like a ghost. So that was cool. All these things created fun levels to explore, and I'll be honest, as far as the gameplay goes, I don't remember most of it. Yes, you collect bananas, and you do it as your character. Each of them have different bananas to collect. And I think coins, maybe, too. I like that all of them do control a little bit different. Obviously, my favorite was Lanky Kong. I assume everyone's favorite is Lanky Kong. He walks on his hands, and he makes funny noises. So Lanky Kong clearly is the best, but I do like that all of them feel distinctly different, have different movesets, different strengths, different weaknesses, and it makes it fun to go through the levels multiple times. I know a more modern complaint, because I have watched a few videos that touch on DK64. A common modern complaint is that having to go all the way back to the barrels to tag out to another character is time-consuming and frustrating, and makes the collectathon aspects of the game feel like a massive drag. And those are all fair. If I played the game today, I think I would feel that. When I was 8, though, I did not give a shit, because I wasn't really playing the game to play the game. Like, I was, obviously I was, but I was playing the game because it allowed me to be in a virtual space and see amazing, exciting things and engage with them in ways that felt meaningful. Of course, I tried to engage with the core gameplay, but I had fun just running around the world, collecting 3 bananas as Diddy Kong, and then running back to a barrel to switch to DK, to then go back to where I was and collect 3 bananas as DK, and then go back to the barrel to switch out to Lanky, to then get 3 new bananas in that same area I had started. That was just the game. That just meant more being in this space that I really valued being in. It was a positive. Its worst gameplay decision for 8-year-old Raz was a positive. Even just being on this one screen here, it's just such an amazing world to look at. I think the presentation of the game is impressive. And I know it's easy to discount that when we see how far games have come. But the art style, its general use of space, the way it feels like a exciting and special world, all that is really impressive. Frankly, that's something Rare has always been pretty incredible at, especially in the old days. I feel like they always batted above where you'd maybe expect technology to be at the time. Now, I never beat the game. I lost on the final boss. This is kind of a recurring theme for DK for me, and DK Country 1. I've beaten it now, I went back and beat it. But as a kid, I never ended up beating it because I got to the end and died to King K. Rool when he does the psych out. And then my cousin erased my file. So that sucked. And then, I never beat this one. My file didn't get erased, but I just couldn't beat it. I wasn't good enough. I'd get to like the 4th or 5th phase of the final boss and choke. I'd lose every time. So I've never beaten it. But again, that didn't bother me. That's not the value I got out of the game. I just liked moving around. And it's interesting because DK64 definitely is an early Nintendo game that is leaning into the dopamine factory that games have since become. But at the time, the dopamine was just from being in these worlds. That is what made my synapses trigger and explode. It wasn't that I felt great connecting bananas and giving them to the pigs. You do that, right? That's how you unlock stuff, I think. I think that's how you unlock areas. I think. That's not what mattered to me. That's not what made my brain go. It was just exploring these places and being excited about what I might see and the creations that they were able to make in a 3D space and the fun different ways I could move around within it. Between the different characters, you just get some cool, versatile options for exploring, which I was a big fan of. Now, another cool part of the game is that it had a multiplayer. There were at least 2 modes, maybe more. Both of them were great. One was like you're in this void and all of you are on it and it's you're trying to knock each other off. I think there were power-ups that can make you big and small, and it was just like a battle royale. Almost like it took a cue of what if we put Super Smash Brothers in here, but instead of doing it as a side scroller, we do it almost from the top down. How about that? And my friends and I played this a lot. We really liked this mode. I think I would hate it now. I think I would despise it now, but I really, really liked it then. Then there also was a more typical deathmatch mode where there were a few different levels you could go in and you just run around, hit each other, shoot guns at each other. My friends and I played this one a lot too. What I remember really liking about it, and it's funny because I don't even know if this is part of the game. This is just what I remember. So this is this is the value of these videos. is potentially spreading lies on the internet. I remember there were secrets within these levels of little paths that you could take to kind of sneak up behind people and get the jump on them. And of course, it never worked because everyone would fucking screen peek like losers. My friends who screen peeked, you know who you are. You know. I know you're watching this. So it never mattered, but it's cool. I love when games have little secret pathways, and even in these multiplayer maps, there are things to explore and things to uncover that give you a competitive edge. It made every space within Donkey Kong 64 a place to consider, and that is what I think of now when I think of it. It is a game that gave me spaces to consider. And as an 8-year-old, that was such a massive boon. It wasn't about how much dopamine could I get from collecting X thing. It was, what can I find and what can I uncover? And having not really played many games like that before that point, DK64 was massively appealing. That was a banana pun. That was intentional. Anyway, I will give DK64 that was pretty cool out of 10. This video is about as directionless as I expected, and it is exactly what I want for this channel. I'm sorry, bye.